Hello, welcome to PAXTON Road TV. This is your preview show for the game coming up at the weekend, Saturday, kickoff 5:30. It is almost at Tottenham first. Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur at the Villa Park. In what can only be called the continuation of our top four quest. Some of us don't like to say the words, but I'm going to say them anyway. Anyway, joining me tonight, we have in the house Mike Hotspur Hustler, Sean Hurl, and Cuba99. I'm Sam Spurs for Life. Let's get going. Let's do this, gentlemen. How are we doing? We all right?
Yeah, good place. In a good place, yes. Especially after Monday night.
Very good place. Well, unusual us to be here on a Thursday. Usually it's towards the weekend, but the game is on Saturday, and also the Premiership starts from tomorrow anyway. So, yeah, all the interviews and press conferences were today. And I'm sure you guys have done your homework already and had a look and seen what's been happening in the world of Conte. Yay! I'll start with you, Cuba, because I can see you've done your homework now. I mean, Jake. I won't pick it first.
Yeah.
Now, what I was good. I'll start off with a nice, easy one. Following the result, 5-1, the result, very good result. Performance, second half particularly, was very good from Spurs. I guess the question for me to ask you is, how do you feel about Spurs currently going forward into the last stretch of this season?
Right, the last few games, it's been night and day this season. For me, I'm starting to get that feeling we had under Pochettino when we were making the charge for the title, when even though Leicester pipped us, that feeling of bring them on, no matter who it is. I feel like we're going to get something out of every game now, including going to Anfield. The team's clicking. It's starting to look like Conte's team now. Players have got confidence. Players we weren't expecting are showing even better form. Doherty's now showing himself to be a regular, let alone just somebody that can even, fill in when needed. He's looking well worth his place nowadays. Bentancur and Kulusevski slotted in brilliantly, better than we could have hoped for, really. Because we thought, even if they showed flashes to the end of the season, we thought perhaps it's something for the future. But no, they've just Bentancur in particular. I mean, Kulusevski gets more of the headlines because there's goal involvements, but Bentancur's running things now. It's brought out. It doesn't matter when Højbjerg has a quieter game nowadays because Bentancur's running the show. He's a revelation.
Let us not forget the importance of Romero in all this as well with regards to the free signings.
Oh, certainly not forget. And he's on a different class to everybody, isn't he?
Levels. I just watched again that there was that defensive block he did against Willock. It was absolutely amazing. And two reasons for it. It wasn't just the fact that he got there, but he was marking somebody else. And he actually almost anticipated that Dyer was going to get turned. And that, again, I was watching something on AFTV today about trusting your defenders. I think we've got trust in the back three. So they all kind of trust each other. But even that, they know each other's game as well. So there's a time where he might anticipate Dyer might make that mistake. And he dived across because if it was someone like Sanchez, I don't think that would have happened. And it would have probably been, a goal from Willock in there. So that is what I'm looking at. I'm seeing a lot of cohesion, the teams playing together. And like you said, Matt Doherty. On the Matt Doherty thing, that's a nice segue into our friend at the top there, who's next to me on that side, Mr. Hotspur. Hotspur Hustler. What do you put this, what do you put the consistency down to now? We've had 3 wins in a row, but, in the 5 games we've had, 1 loss, that was to Man United. But even that was down to mistakes. And before that, the games are pretty consistent against Leeds, Everton, even Burnley to a degree. What do you put in this down to now? Is it just a case of Conte's been able to have the time, the mentality of the players? He mentioned in the press conference today about someone like Matt Doherty having the right attitude, not being in the team, but not moaning about it like we've seen with some of our other players. Is it a case of these players are just getting down to work?
Yeah, mate. I think it's a case that they're probably putting the graft in at training, and it's sort of bearing fruit on the pitch. The fact that we haven't got these European midweek games probably playing a large part. And the fact that we're able to keep the same sort of team week in, week out.
Good point.
I think that's probably the major the major thing for the team is it's a consistent 11 now, week in, week out, and if you've got that consistency, at some point things will start to just click, and I think that's what's happened with Spurs. You can see it. You go back the last six or seven games, something's clicked. I think, and it might be that they just fully understand Conte's. They fully understand the tactics, the philosophy, what Conte's probably trying to get across to the team, his expectations. I think it's all just starting to. It feels like it's starting to click together. You can see that in the performances and the results. I don't think you can say it's not a coincidence that it just seems to be all just starting to click together. Which, to be fair, if it's gonna click together, it's probably around about now that you want it to go into that last straight. And if we want to keep the likes of Kane and Conte for next season, then it's important that we have a strong run to the end of the season to try and nab that top four spot. Because I think if we get Champions League football, I think that will be. I think it'd be massive for Spurs for next season in terms of what it means for the club and what it could mean in terms of the sort of players that we could pull in. I think
it'd be one of Conte's biggest achievements, and I know it sounds a bit silly to say that when you're not winning anything, but I'm just going by how a number of managers have come in and done the same thing. We had to have. I was going to say the real cohesion about Pochettino for 2 years before we got to sort of levels of playing. He's only been here since November.
I mean, what would you say though if he managed to get third? Chelsea look. They look like something's happened at that club. Like, it can't just be a coincidence that they've had the sanctions. Roman's trying to sell. Something's happened within that club, and it's just seems like it's just going one way, and that's a downward spiral. Because you can't just say, oh, they've conceded 7 goals in the last 2 games, which is unheard of for Chelsea under Tuchel. So, yeah,
I think somebody earlier was mentioning about Tuchel's going through a divorce or something like that.
Yeah, he's got some personal problems.
So if he's got things on his mind, we've seen it from our own point of view when a manager takes his eye off the ball. Look at Harry Redknapp with the England job.
But like I said, you can't take away that they are human. I think we kind of not forget that, but we kind of see them on TV and think that they don't have other stuff to do with, and it's just 100% football. He finishes the game, he has to go home. If he's dealing with personal issues as like a divorce, that's going to take its toll on anybody mentally. So I don't care who you are, it's going to have some effect. And I was just going to come down to you, Sean, because mentality is one of the things that I think of the 4 things that I look at: the mentality, tactical, technical aspects, and also the physical aspects of the team itself. Conte, being a perfectionist, wants to improve. Is there any of those areas that you think we still could do a bit more with, or all of them, in fact?
I suppose it's. I mean, what we seem to be is we do seem to be in that period when like under Pochettino, suddenly the players just buy into it and they see the results from the training regime and the repetitions and the fact that they're getting results on a Saturday. I pushed back on you on taking 2 years. I thought it was a bit sooner than Pochettino. But Pochettino had his purge of the players. Conte's had his sales of players, or his loans of players out of the club. I kind of see parallels between when the Pochettino ethos was adopted with the way that Conte's ethos is being adopted. Maybe I just wish that we would. I wish the first choice left backs would take a leaf out of the book of our stand-in left back and score goals. The number of times that Reguilón and Sessegnon,
they've got injury issues. Both of them have got injury problems or injury issues, and they're both back in training. Both should be available for Saturday.
Yeah,
but given how Doherty played, and I'll ask you, Kuva, do you think he should name an unchanged team?
Yeah, I don't see why not. That was working. That really was working. Full credit to Doherty, the way he swapped wings and he was effective down that left as well. I mean, especially with Sonny being on fire in the game. I mean, it's almost like he didn't have to do what he did, but he still managed to add to the attack down that side. It's outstanding. It's almost comical how the fact we've gone from thinking, well, God, we can't wait to get rid of Doherty, to now wishing we had two of them.
We on this channel
would go quite that far.
No, we've had some right fun with Doherty on this channel for the last year or so, and we've gone from the highs. Obviously, I cannot say that he is the best in the world. He's not, but there's better out there. But the way he was playing at times.
Yeah, at the moment he's our best, though, isn't he?
He is our best, but there was times when we were thinking he's got to go. I was to the point where there's no saving this guy. I've got to say now, if Conte, and this is why I'm so pleased to see a player like Doherty become what he is now, because it shows that players can get coached, and all this thing about certain players not being able to get better, it's bullshit, really. If you listen, you take on board, and you've got the right mentality, you can improve. And for someone like Doherty, who I thought couldn't play conference level football, let alone Premier League level football, it shows you he must be doing.
And that was acknowledged in the press conference this afternoon. There was quite a big, I think it was Ali Gold asked Conte about Matthew, as Conte calls him. He always calls him Matthew rather than Matt. It's really strange. One of those foibles of Conte's English, but yeah, he always calls him Matthew. And he said that, he has shown me, he said, I didn't pick him at first because I didn't think he was, he
didn't deserve it. He used the words, he didn't deserve it.
Didn't deserve it, yeah. And he then went into a big long treatise on how Doherty didn't moan. He just got down, got his head down. He took his, he had that special second half against Leicester, and he kind of, brought him back into the fold a wee bit more. But, fair play to him. He's, as we say, we know that he's not a Hakimi. He's not in that class, right? But I tell you what, if he drags us into the top that word I won't mention, he's worth his weight in gold. And good luck to him. He's an established international player. He's had a tough time, maybe dealing with the status of Tottenham Hotspur compared to Wolverhampton is quite, can be quite daunting for some players, and it's happened before where players just can't adjust, And I think,
I think it helps having a mate. Well. I think it really helps him having almost like a best mate in Harry Kane that he can go golfing with.
Harry Kane's integration of Doherty into the first team cannot be underestimated.
Definitely,
they play golf together. Kane's obviously got Irish relatives as well in his family. He's got, he's well known out in Galway, I think it is. And, you can't, those human things, it's like you were saying, Sam, they are human beings in the end, and they need to feel loved and what have you. And, fair played.
Look at Mike's face. Mike's not having none of this. Doherty needs to be loved. He's not having none of that, is he?
I tell you what, if he scores a winner on Saturday, shut up, Mike.
I'll tell you what, if he scores the winner against them lot on, the game that we've got to play against them lot, that would be a statue. I'll actually say we should commission a statue for Doherty. No word of a lie. Anyway, let's go on.
The Irish Cafu. Come on.
Let's have a look at this.
I was going to say quickly on Doherty, the one thing I will say is he is a great example of when he wasn't playing well, he just manned up and said openly, I'm not playing well. I'm struggling. And then he just stayed quiet. He didn't bitch and whine and complain. He worked really hard, came back, and he's done it. I mean, that's a lesson to a lot of players I can think of that we've seen coming through the doors lately.
Yeah, that's very true. So now let's have a look at the league table and the form. So league table at the moment, Manchester City and Liverpool. I used to say we could discount the top three, but now I'm only discounting Manchester City and Liverpool. Kuva, Tottenham Hotspur in fourth place, 54 points played, having played 30 games.
I'm going to kill you, Sam. Four is bad enough.
Listen,
three, you're pushing your luck, mate.
When you jump, you jump big time.
If we stay free of injuries, I think we can have a good nibble.
We stay free of injuries.
Yeah, talk it, Kuva, talk it. I was only going to ask the question. I was only going to ask the question because Chelsea have got to play Arsenal and Chelsea have got some hard runs. And even Mike, you said it, Chelsea are going through a bit of a whatever they're going through. They've got to play Southampton away, I think it is, at the weekend. Not an easy game by any stretch, the way they're playing. Do we have to now bring Chelsea back into the equation as part of this race for the top 3/4, Kuva?
Definitely. They're crumbling at the moment. That against Real Madrid, they were shocking. Some of it was absolutely shocking. And against Brentford, I mean, it wasn't a fluke Brentford win. They were absolutely dominant. It was unbelievable. They are struggling. And the pressure's really on them now because they were coasting earlier in the season. Now they're right back in the mix. There's bloods in the water. Conte can smell it. And Conte, oh God, would he love to finish above them this season.
I noticed Conte was at their game last night as well.
He was. And I don't know if it was just because it was Champions League or it was just because it was Chelsea and he's probably got a free ticket to come there anyway. Or he was just saying, because he mentioned in his press conferences before, Mike, you think you remember this one, when he was like, well, Chelsea, they're way above us. That's the level we need to be at. But then he's mentioned before he'd like to kind of see what they would be like playing against them now. I think if we played against them, that'd be very interesting. We're obviously going to see when it's like to be playing at the top level team when we play Liverpool.
I don't think he's there just to watch Chelsea for the sake of it, or Real Madrid
no
for the
chance.
sake of it.
No chance.
He's monitoring someone there, mate. There's no way you go
something or
someone.
Or is he being tapped up by Chelsea?
Nah, no chance. He's not going back there. Nah, he's not going back there.
Not a chance.
Madrid might.
Why would any top manager go to Chelsea?
Madrid maybe, yeah. Reguilon was at the game too.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on then. League fixtures. So I just put this in as a new little feature so we could just actually see who's playing this weekend. So the game tomorrow kicks off Newcastle versus Wolves. Then on Saturday, Everton, Man United kicks off the Saturday. Arsenal, Brighton, Southampton, Chelsea, Watford versus Leeds. On to Sunday, Brentford versus West Ham, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Norwich, Burnley, Manchester City, Liverpool. Obviously our game at 5:30 on Saturday. Aston Villa versus Spurs. Our form we've talked about, Mike. 17 goals scored, 5 conceded. Is there any more that we can do on top of what we're already doing in terms of performances, results?
I don't think in terms of... I think the performances, I don't think... Well, you can always better your performance, but I wouldn't say Tottenham have been performing sort of badly at all. The only thing I would say is maybe just cut out the odd goal. There's been just cut out the goals that we've been conceding. Like the Newcastle one, we shouldn't have been conceding against them. So if we can cut out just the silly mistakes which have led to that odd goal and kept a couple of clean sheets, that would be perfect. But let's be real. The results, I don't think anyone here is going to complain with the results. So on the grand scheme of things...
Apart from Man United, we've lost 6 points to the worst Manchester United in decades.
No, we didn't lose it to Man United. We lost it to Ronaldo.
We did lose it to Sue. Definitely lost it to him. But what I was going to just add on...
Fred had his only good game of the season as well, didn't he?
Fred. Oh, that name.
Okay, Fred.
The only thing...
He's not Brazilian, I'm telling you.
Going back to Tottenham Hotspur, forget them lot anyway. Forget Man United and the rest of them. The only thing I would say is I would like to see a consistent 2 halves of football. I go back to looking at all these last 5 games. Although we've won 4 and lost 1, even in the Everton game, the 5-0, it was still quite, a bit dicey in that first half. Man United, obviously, we know about. Brighton, we had to work hard against Brighton. West Ham always been a London derby. It was a game of 2 halves again. And obviously the game against Newcastle was a big second half for us. Kuva, looking at our results now against, Aston Villa's results, scored 9, conceded 5. What are you expecting from Villa come Saturday?
Well, if you look at the ones they're losing there against West Ham, Arsenal and Wolves, it's all only by a goal, isn't it? They're not getting hammered. They're not capitulating. It's close games. Before you finish that, can I just say Newcastle had only conceded no more than 1 goal in their past 11 games before they played us.
That was a little factor I had on Sky. And they got whooped 5-1 by us. So just add that to the mix.
We'll leave it at that. No, it's going to be. I think we're hitting them just at the right time, and they're hitting us just at the wrong time. So you could use Irish logic and say that means Villa are going to win in a goal fest, or you could say we're probably going to edge it on a slim win. But you know, the way we're playing, the way Kane's playing, the way Kulusevski's now taken on board the creativity in the midfield as well. He slotted in brilliantly with Kane, the two of them working together. With the way we got the fullbacks now overlapping the wingers properly, it's like four-pronged attack going past Kane, who's directing all the play out from, you know, Hoddle style. We're just offering so much, even when we do have a, you know, sustained bit of pressure, like in the first half against Newcastle. We were playing well. We were just struggling because they were in such a low block. But they scored. You look in the past and how many times we crumble. It's the end of the game. We know we're not going to score. It's going to be one of them days. But the way we just reapplied ourselves instantly back on the front foot, put the pressure right back on them. And it's like it was a red rag to us. It was we just got more determined, more urgency, and it paid off. We were just slaughtering them. It was so easy to go past them by the end of the game. You felt like, why didn't we get 10? I mean, I think we're just going to get. I think we just got too much for Villa now.
Well,
a few weeks ago, it'd be different story, but not now.
I'm going to add to that more to this happy feeling that we've got about Villa. Obviously, we won the last 3. They've lost the last 3. These are our last 5 matches against them in the league, both home and away. Sean lost 1 game to them. That was the end of last season, towards the end of last season. Tottenham 1, Villa 2. But 4 wins.
The day after the famous Harry Kane interview, yeah.
That's the one. That is the one. Looking at that, are you confident that, you know, Spurs should be going into this game as favourites?
I mean, historically, we've got the whip hand on Villa, I think, you know. I mean, I seem to remember that 2-3, for example. That was the one that Son scored in the last minute with a broken arm. You know what I mean? It was like incredible. I'm more than confident that we can, you know, we can win on. I'm not as confident as thinking that we're going to whip them. You know, I mean, it just depends on Coutinho. The key player for us, as Cooper has already said, is Kane. I don't think they've got a midfielder or a defender that can deal with someone like Harry Kane. I don't think their defence is strong enough, and I don't think, you know, their midfield is strong enough to deal with Kane. It could be the Kane versus Coutinho shootout. I don't know.
What I think we've got is, if they do mark out Kane, and this is what I've tried to watch the games a few times just to see what they do with teams. Because in that first half, they were trying to cut Kane out. This is obviously the game that we played the other day against Newcastle. They tried to get hold of Kane. But what we have, I think you may have noticed, our centre-backs joining our attacks now. So you notice that Ben Davies got the goal. He was a part of that attack that was coming. It was obviously up from the corner anyway. And Romero does the same on the other side. So there's detail behind now. If they do mark out Kane, we obviously know we've got Bentancur that can break lines anyway. We've also got the effect of either Ben Davies or Romero on both sides of Dyer, who now also come forward and join the attack. So I think even if they mark Kane out of the game, we've got other avenues, and we're playing confidently that we can use these other avenues.
Yeah, and that creates space, as you say. It's going to create space if they try to mark Kane out of the game. Definitely. And, you know, I mean, no defence will cope with a mobile Sonny. You know, he will move those centre-backs around left, right and centre, and he'll pop up behind them. And, it'll, you know, Kulusevski can find him. Hopefully Reguilon or
got goals.
Doherty. We've got goals in other places.
We've got goals at wing back now.
Well, they are. I mean, they're turning up on the edge of the 6-yard box, which is pure Conte ball. You know, look at that.
Goals.
Goal.
I was going to say 3 goals from defenders.
Classic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
3 goals from defenders. That's decent.
How many times have you said Spurs have scored 5 and Harry Kane didn't get one of them?
Yeah,
in the last few years.
Well, how many times did you say we score 5? Wait, how many times would you say we scored more than 2 goals and both our wing backs score the same match? It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And I'd almost
until now.
I was going to say, I almost count that as a set piece goal that we scored against Newcastle as well. I know it came off the, when they'd already taken the corner, but it was still from a cross. And that's interesting to see that Ben Davies, who hadn't scored for 4 years, is popping up with a goal. Bloody hell. Mike, just to add to this feel-good factor, this is our last 5 away matches against Villa. We haven't lost. We've won all 5.
You could have known. They've been pretty tight, though.
Don't think we've lost for 10 games at Villa, have we?
Let me tell you this. This is another stat. We've lost twice.
Let's not jinx it, guys.
Mike, we've got to talk it up now. I'm not having this not talking it up now because Conte's talking it up. I'm talking it up. So I was just going to say, they've only won. No, sorry, they've lost. We've lost twice to Villa in 22 games in all competitions, won 17 and drawn 3. That is quite a record against one team. So they are not looking forward to playing us. And as I said, I think it goes back, maybe as Cougar was saying, 8 games to the last time they won at Villa Park against us. Is this, you know what I'm going to say now? Should this be a standard, get the result? I'm thinking that we should take this result against them. I think we've got more to play for than them. Form going into it suggests that we are the form team of the league. They're not on the best of form. We love Villa Park. What you telling me, lads? The silence is not good.
I'm going to go for it anyway. It's not just the big name players we were looking at before with Kane running everything that we're so impressed with Kulusevski now. Also adding to this creativity and the fullbacks. So a little bit more quietly is just what I'd say is more of a return to form for the Sonny we know. He's been not quite at his peak for several weeks, as well, lots of people saying that. I know some people will argue otherwise, but you look at the difference now, you can see he's much more involved throughout the game. It shows statistically as well. He's much more involved in goals with other people. It's not just him getting the important goals himself. He's fully taking teams apart, both passing, cute little flicks and building up the attacks. So we've got creativity, flair, pace, goals from all over the place at the moment. And as Sam was saying, like when you throw in Davis, Romero bombing forward as well unexpectedly, it must be a nightmare for other teams to pick all these players up. So I don't think we need to look too negatively at what the other team might do. Let them worry about us. We're the form team. Let them panic. So they're grand, but we're going to own it.
Yeah, we can control games now. We've seen that we can control games. Our possession stats have definitely increased. We were 60-odd% against Newcastle. We were the percentage team against Manchester United. We have been the percentage team as well. And now we're not just looking at us being a counter-attacking team because we can also build a few. You've seen the way that we've built some Conte ball, as everybody likes to call it, some really good patterns of play. And I think which was the goal that was it was that Son goal. Absolutely superb build-up play. Kane knocks over the top. Kulusevski down that right wing. First time ball, almost a first time ball with his weaker foot into Son, 2 touches, bang, goal. You can't stop that type of football. That's impossible to stop. So I don't care what Villa have got. This is why I'm a bit braggadocious and a bit confident because I don't care what you've got. The form team that we're playing, with the way that we're playing, the confidence, we've got everything to play for. We'll have seen the results of Man United and Arsenal before we play. Come on, lads. Come on. I'm going for it big time. Let's have a few of these.
The only thing I'd say on the back of that is if you listen to Steven Gerrard's interview, was it after the Arsenal? It was Arsenal game that they lost to, and they were awful, but they only lost. What was it 1-0? Wasn't it in the end?
But they never had a shot on target at home.
Yeah, and this is the thing.
That's Nuno Spurs.
You can't get any worse than that. So, and they've lost 3 games on the trot. So, me being the cautious sort of person that I am, I would worry insofar as Gerrard sounded pissed off. He's going to expect, regardless of they've got nothing to play for, they're not going to want four losses on the trot. Gerrard's not going to want 4 losses on the trot. He's not about that life.
He might not want it, Mike, but he's going to get it.
I hope.
Like his mate Lampard at Everton.
Poor old Lampard.
Good players don't necessarily make great managers.
Yeah,
and that's a point that Conte made today. He said, I was not a great player, so I had to work hard.
The way Villa have gone in recent games, it's almost like Gerrard gave them the team talk of let's not let this slip.
This is the team
Conte
talk I
wasn't
want.
a good-
Conte. Sorry, Mike. I was just going to say, you know the old Alex Ferguson when Tottenham used to come to town. This is what I'm going to say, lads. It's Villa. That's what you should say to them.
No.
Yeah.
Conte wouldn't do that.
You lot are not on my. You lot are not on my.
Shithousery's perfect. I'm all for it. You lot are not absolute joke team. We're going to go there and smash them.
Oh, you lot are not on my boat, man. I'm telling you, I'm on it. I'm on it this time.
Hey,
right?
I'm thinking 5:30 to 7:30 on Saturday only.
Let's do this.
You're talking about us finishing runners up the way you're going. We're going to catch City as well. I'm going to catch Liverpool as well.
I think they've got a point too many.
I'm getting a bit
1
giddy,
point.
but if things, like I said, it'd be interesting to see them games beforehand and when Chelsea do play as well to see what happens in their game. Because anyway, that's me done with that. Mike, here we go then. Top of the show, top of the score predictions. I'm writing them down. What's your thoughts?
I'm keeping it reserved. I'm going 2-0 Spurs.
Ooh, you bugger.
I think that is going to be a bit of a
I went 2-0 last week and we ended up battering Newcastle 5-1. So if I keep it reserved, 2-0, then I can only hope that we'll score more.
Okay, cool. Let's go to you, Cooper, then. So Mike said 2-0. 0-2, should I say?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Gerrard does know what he's doing so far. I mean, he has proved he can manage teams. So he's going to want to take it, make it tight, and improve themselves defensively.
Yeah.
Not get spanked or anything like that. So, of course, we're going to win 5-1. Kane's going to get a brace. Sonny's going to get a brace. And Kulusevski with the other. And they'll be lucky to have their one goal.
Cuba's let the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Romero giving it to Maguire, that is, isn't it?
If we want the ball, we'll just go Romero, get us the ball, and we'll have it.
Oh, that is good. I like that one. Anyway, what are you telling me? What's your real score line then? Is it going to be the 5-1?
5-1, I'm going for it.
Oh,
he's not messing
We're
about.
just full of goals. If you can't be
about.
confident with the way we're playing now, when can you be?
I was going
Give you that.
I thought I was on that, but Cooper's gone and he's gone and done it. Sean,
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Oh no,
We'll
get.
It's going to be Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 4.
Oh yeah.
You think we're going to concede 2 goals?
Yeah, but they'll only be consolations. Don't worry.
Yeah, pity goals.
I think
2 OGs.
I can't see Villa scoring.
Yeah, I'm almost at the point where I can't see
hoping,
Villa scoring. I think our defense is really proven to be really good. Seeing some blocks, people actually doing stuff which at corners is what I'm saying. We're doing better from set pieces. I know we conceded a free kick goal, but that was Hugo's fault. Other than that, the defense has been really good. Crosses into the box we're dealing with. I'm not bothered about Ollie Watkins, if I'm really honest with you. Coutinho, we have to watch him. But if they bring the game to us, that's going to play into our hands. Defensively, our shape's great, and we can break from that low to mid block very, very quickly. And I don't care what team you are. This is why I'm looking forward to the Anfield game even now, because if they play a high line like that, it's going to be a really... I know. Anyway, going back to this game, I'm still talking it up. I'm going with what Simply Ace is telling me here. I'm going 1-3. I'm going a consolation goal as... Put teeth in. Consolation goal, as you have said, Sean, but not 2 consolation goals. I'm only going 1. 3-1 to the Spurs.
Mine to 4-1, sorry. 1-4, sorry, yeah. 1-4.
1-4. So we've got Mike. He's kept it nice, just in that realm of we're comfortable. A real Conte score, 0-2. Cooper's gone. He's just gone. He's lost it. But I like that.
Plot gone.
I like that loss of plot there. He's gone 1-5. Sean's kind of saying he's taken back one of the consolation. He's gone 1-4, and I'm going 1-3, as Simply Ace has said on stream here. A few more comments here. Mojo saying 3-0 Spurs and we finished third. You see?
Shut up.
Yeah.
You see?
That's what I'm talking about.
Stop it.
You see?
It's
not just me. Well done, Monjo. Talk to them. Tell them.
We need Chelsea to drop points again. They got Southampton, Arsenal next, don't they? The next 2 games they've got Southampton, Arsenal. We need them to drop points against both those teams. If we win both our next 2 games and
It's
Chelsea
looking more and more
points,
better that the Arsenal Chelsea game's a draw.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. If they drop, even if they drop points against Southampton this weekend, then that Arsenal Chelsea game, we're in a real good position. We've got to obviously take advantage. That's the problem with us.
We're in the
And
box
this is-
seat, yes, I'll concede
We've
that.
just got to not do the old Spursy thing. And this is what I'm saying. This is why I need to see this shift in mentality. Part of it was done at the weekend because we were 1 goal back, 1 goal behind, and we came back and scored 5. So that's a good sign. Let's see now when we go away from home, if we went 1-0 behind. That's a real test. 3-1 Spurs. I'm saying it. I'm still saying it.
4-1 Spurs.
Ireland Live,
5-1 Spurs. Or maybe
Son's-
2-0.
absolutely love it at the moment. Alex is saying Chelsea in the mud. And Don should see you at the weekend. Hopefully, big up Paxton Road, boys. Kuva, where can the viewers find you? Let them know. Tell them where they can find you and more of you, I guess, is what they probably want to find.
I will be on the fantastic Spurs TV tomorrow night. No, Saturday night, sorry. Keep thinking it's Friday because you're on there. But otherwise, I'm sort of floating around channels again now. I took a bit of a time out, but I'm not tied down to anybody in particular. I'll just go around when I feel like something. Good invitation somewhere like Paxton Road. Got to take that one.
We extend the invitation far and wide.
Feel
You're
free
more
to
than
float.
welcome, Kuba.
Exactly. Feel free to float in and out when you feel, particularly when you're coming up with some scores like that, Kuva. You're welcome to float in and out all the time, mate. Simply, thank you very much. So before we go, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you put that like as well, that thumbs up for us. Make sure you do that. It helps us out tremendously with all the YouTube algorithms and all the rest of the stuff that we do. Also, make sure you put some comments in the comment section and let us know what you think the score is going to be. Tottenham Hotspur.
Predictions. We seem to have dropped the WhatsApp phone-in predictions as well.
Yeah, we'll get that back up and running.
We need to get that back up.
Do you know what? I've even got a way of justifying my 5-1 prediction. It's like with Sonny, when you look at him closely, every season he always hits a purple patch. When he does, all those goals that he was just narrowly missing before, he becomes super clinical all of a sudden. And he's capable of getting
He likes a goal at Villa too.
If he does that, that turns in a narrow victory into a big win. And I think he's due that. So I'm going for it. I'm betting on him getting a brace and a big win.
Are we going Sonny for the golden boot? He's
he's there. He's a contender. He's a serious contender. Yeah.
How many goals has he got this season?
Who's Son?
A million, isn't it?
Is it 13?
107.
So nobody's doubling it against Villa.
And tell you what, Matt Doherty could be challenging for top goal scorer at Spurs this season. No, I'm only joking. That's going too far now. It's going too far.
You had to take it too far.
I know. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, viewers, I think it's time for us to go now. Mike, Sean, Kuva, fabulous. We've got a couple of days to wait, but Spurs kick off 5:30 Villa Park on Saturday. We'll have seen Man United play. I think they play Everton, don't they? Yeah, that's going to be some game. That is going to be some game.
Funny feeling Everton are going to nick that.
Nah.
It's totally out of the blue. It's against runner play.
I feel that too, Cooper. I think Everton might actually nick something off of Man U.
Because Man United have always got a catastrophe in them somewhere.
I was going to say, if you want some financial advice, stick a fiver on that. That Everton, they're getting relegated. They're done
at the minute, mate. I don't get a fiver back.
They're done.
They are done.
This will be the last game they win this season. Against Arsenal.
I was going to say they can have to win this week. It probably does a favour, to be fair. But that run of games they've got is horrendous.
Oh God. You couldn't have picked a
Lampard ain't got the minerals for it.
You imagine Liverpool. Liverpool have got to play them. They'll absolutely love sending them down, won't they?
I tell you what, if Everton get out of this mess,
they ain't getting out.
Every single accolade they get. And Frank Lampard should get manager of the season just for sake. But there's no chance. There's no chance. I see him play against Burnley, and that was their.
I've heard the board are already talking about his position. Actually,
he's done.
They could bring in Duncan Disorderly just to get them to the end of the line, end of the game.
They're going to get Allardyce, aren't they?
Oh dear me! Oh, that's too much. They might even get
said this on earlier on stream though. The problem with Everton going down is who can we sell our rubbish to when we don't want it anymore?
They haven't even paid yet. That's what I'm worried about. They're not paid for him yet because he's not.
He hasn't even made the 10 performances to get the first instalment.
Oh, they're not paid for him, and that's the crime in itself. Right, let's go now. Thank you very much, PAXTON ROAD TV. Make sure you join us for Sid's. Sid, is he doing it tomorrow? Yeah, I think Sid's is on tomorrow, Friday night. But look out for the reaction show 7:40 after the game on Saturday. Kuva, if you're around and you want to, but you're doing the you might want to rest because you've got that marathon Bobspur TV, which lasts about 2 days. So you're not going to want to come on our show first because they're long shows. They are.
I might. Yeah, I might.
Oh well, I'll send you it because you might just be able to float around, as you said, just float in and out.
That's right. I'll be on a high thinking about the 5-1 win.
He'd be giving it full-on shit-assery on every channel.
Damn right. That's what he should be doing.
Here we go. Coutinho, washed up waster.
Who are we? Tottenham Hotspur. All of them not going to have it.
Have you seen the level of change of us? Imagine a few months ago when the level of depression on streams was absolutely horrendous. And now look at us. We're having a laugh and a joke.
Remember those Avengers Assemble ones?
God.
We're all in black. Remember them? Fucking hell.
I'm going to actually go back and have a look at a couple of them because I can't believe the
Can you believe we had Nuno as manager?
Deji wanted to team up and go up to Hotspur away and punch a few guys in the nose. Fucking hell, they were great.
Flipping hell. It sounds mad, doesn't it? But that wasn't so long ago.
It wasn't that long ago at all.
Okay, so we have to go now before we do any more jinxing because I probably jinxed it enough by saying. But Kuva, if you've not jinxed us now, there's nothing that can jinx us. So
I'm letting him have a token goal.
I'm going to give him pelters.
Right then. I'm coughing. Right then.
Poor little useless Villa. They can have one goal.
Time to go, lads. Right then, take care. Kuva,
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.